What's up, everybody? It's JMacBoogy. I have a cool deck profile for you today. It is the Drytron deck, recently released in Genesis Impact. It is currently leading most of the meta conversation, and I was lucky enough to pull a few of the cards from Genesis Impact, so I started building it. Just to preempt this is a 45 card deck. It's a little bit different. But yeah, I like to use it. I'm actually going to locals with it this weekend. I'll let you know how I do. But we'll do some online duels as well and see how those go. But we have 3 Drytron alphas. Basically what Drytrons do is they can tribute a Drytron monster on the field or a ritual monster, a Drytron monster from the field or hand or ritual monster, and then special summon itself and activate its effect. So when Drytron Alpha is special summoned, you can add a ritual monster, and when Drytron Zeta is special summoned, you can add a ritual spell. So these are your big starters, definitely 3 of for both of them. Then we have 2 Drytron Gammas, 1 Drytron Delta, and then 1 Drytron Beta. Gamma is really cool when it special summons itself. It can special summon another monster from the graveyard. So this is a card you're usually going to want to send to the graveyard either with Foolish Burial or your Union Carrier combo. Drytron Delta is cool because when you special summon him, you can reveal a ritual monster or ritual spell and then draw a card. And Beta is probably the worst one of the batch, probably one I would think about cutting and maybe adding a second Delta. But when Beta is special summon, you can move a Drytron monster from your banish zone back into your graveyard. So the reason I have betas just have multiple names. These are once per turn. And yeah, just to kind of maximize the amount of monsters I can get on the field. They're all level 1 light machine monsters, so that is going to be important as well. The ritual monsters we play, let's start with the Cyber Angels. We have 3 Ben 10s. Ben 10 is going to be the card that you want to add off of Drytron Alpha. And when Ben 10 is tributed, you can add a fairy monster. Now that can be Ben 10 itself, that could be Cyber Angel Natasha, it could be any of your heralds, but in an ideal turn, you're going to want to loop this card 4 to 5 times. Now that can be kind of tough. There are a lot of different lines to play. So myself not being a super great player right now, I'll usually get to 3 and get a little stuck. Sometimes I'll get to 4 or 5. But 3 Ben 10, and then the other one is Cyber Angel Natasha. She negates effects on ritual monsters. And then when she's summoned, you can add half of a monster's attack points as life points. The other cool thing about her is when she's in the graveyard, she can banish another Cyber Angel, target a, I'm sorry, it doesn't even target. Let me just read it off for you. You can banish one other Cyber Angel monster from your graveyard, then target one monster your opponent controls, special summon it if you do take control of that monster. So that's pretty cool. She's a great card, comes in handy a lot. So that's some of our rituals. The other ones here are the boss monsters. We have 3 of them. Herald of Ultimateness negates special summons, spell trap effects if you have a fairy monster in hand and then you discard it. So this is an ideal card to make first turn. Draconids, if you use 2 Drytron monsters, you can send 2 cards from your opponent's field to the graveyard on their turn. So it's a quick effect. And then Quadrantids is probably the worst one, but with this format being so spell heavy, spell and trap heavy, he's a Harpy's Feather Duster. He can destroy all spell traps on your opponent's side of the field once per turn. So those are the 3 big boss monsters. Let's get into the Fairy Herald package. 2 Orange Light. I wish it was 3 Orange Light. I just don't have the 3rd one. They're a little expensive, so that's why I do have Purple Light in here. This card negates monster effects if you pitch another fairy card and itself. You want to get this card in your hand on the first turn because you will go over 5 summons, and this can stop Nibiru, so that's very important. Purple Light negates traps, and then Green Light negates spells. And if you have Ultimateness, he does all of that. All you have to do is pitch 1 card. So if you're going to end up with Ultimateness, make sure you're adding these cards and some of the other ones I'm about to list. Big hand trap right now is Artifact Lancia. We're getting into the one-ofs. We have Barrier Statue of the Heavens. Let's go over these 2. Kind of different. Lancia is perfect for Virtual World right now. Doesn't allow your player to banish. I only have 1 in here, but I do have some more in the side deck. And this card is very searchable with Ben 10. So very easy to get. Barrier Statue of the Heavens is if I don't go into a normal summon. This is like a turn 2, turn 3 play. Like let's say I got rid of my other normal summons. He doesn't allow players to special summon anything but light monsters. So if we're in a mirror match, I'll definitely take him out. The other one-ofs we have here, Manju of the 10,000 Hands. He allows you to add a ritual monster or a ritual spell. It's usually going to be a ritual monster because you can get that ritual spell pretty easily with Zeta. So this is a great normal summon turn 1. Eva's a great card to add to hand. She's a fairy monster. When she's sent to the graveyard, you can banish 2 fairy monsters and add 2 from your deck to your hand. So her with ultimateness is awesome. Definitely a card you want to get. Just keeps refueling ultimateness. Vanity's Ruler is a first turn play. Stops your opponent from special summoning at all. So if you can make it, go for it. If you're going second, then you probably won't need it and you can side it out. Dawn Knight is just here to help with our Union Carrier play. So you'll equip Union Carrier with Dawn Knight. You'll get rid of Union Carrier. This goes to the graveyard. When he goes to the graveyard, you can send a card from your deck to the grave. So basically a Foolish Burial on a combo. All right, let's go into the spells. We have 3 Drytron Nova and 3 Drytron Fafnir. This is basically 6 Drytron Nova because this card searches Drytron spell traps, which, you know, is Drytron Nova. So that's essentially what you're going to be using it for. You can also add the ritual spell if you want to. Now, Drytron Nova allows you to special summon a Drytron monster directly from the deck, which is absolutely insane. It is once per turn. And so what you're going to do is let's say you bring out Beta. You won't bring out Beta. But you bring out Beta, go into Link Karibo, and then you can use his effect from the graveyard to tribute a ritual monster. So just a great combo extender if you see it first turn. Don't use it right away. See if you can bait out the Ash with something else. So 3 Drytron spells right there. We have Preparation of Rites and 2 Cyber Emergencies. Preparation of Rites allows you to add a level 7 or lower ritual monster. So you'll use this to get Ben 10. You have so many great searchers in this deck, but that's also why it's super weak to Droll and Lockbird. We'll go over that a little bit later. Cyber Emergency works for any of the Drytron monsters. You can add them from your deck to your hand. I only run 2 just because there's so many other searchers and I have all the Drytron names that I need. If I wasn't playing Beta, maybe I'd go up to 3 of these. We'll get into the one-ofs here. We have the Ritual Spell. The Ritual Spell is awesome. It allows you to ritual summon from your hand or graveyard using machine monsters with higher attack. And all the Drytrons are machine monsters, so you can ritual summon Ben 10 from your graveyard to get rid of Union Carrier, because Union Carrier is a machine monster. And yeah, and you can recycle this card as well, because when it's in the graveyard and you have a Drytron monster on your field, lower its attack by 1,000, add it back to your hand, and you can essentially use it 2 times per each turn. The other one of those we have, Foolish Burial and Call by the Grave. I might cut this just because Dawn Knight's a natural Foolish Burial, and I go into Union Carrier almost every turn. Call by the Grave, I wish this was back at 3 because we could stop Droll, but we can't unless we see this card first turn. We have 3 more cards here. Red Eyes Fusion, and then the Dark Magician and Black Dragon. I mainly use this, and I recommend this to any player that's getting into the game. If you're not great at the game and you have these cards, use them. You know, it's super easy to get out, and good players have a hard time with it. And I think it's kind of a signal of a weaker player, but if it's going to help me get wins, it's fine. So I did manage to fit those in there. Now let's go into the extra deck. Since these are level 1 monsters, we can go into rank 1s. What we'll typically do is we'll go into a simple Nightingale. She can attack directly twice, so 800 damage there. Main phase 2, you can overlay for Downright Magician just directly. And then you can also overlay for Sky Thunder, Zeus. So you should have 4 different materials underneath Zeus, so you can activate his send effect twice. That's the big play here. Fucho's in here just in case somehow I lose Nightingale. If I can get a relinquish anima on hand, I'll probably cut this card. But that's the Xyz package, the Zeus package. You'll go into him a lot. The other ones we have that we use a lot are Union Carrier, Herald, and Link Karibo. I've said multiple times, Union Carrier is how you're going to start your combos. He is a machine monster. You basically power up with itself. He goes to 2,000 attack, and then you can use that ritual spell on it. Mirage Lights negates spell trap effects by sending a fairy from your hand to the graveyard. And then when he is sent to the graveyard, you can add a ritual monster and a ritual spell back to your hand. So great recursion there. And Link Karibo is just a great way for you to get your Drytron monsters in the grave. Because if you Drytron Nova special summon from the deck, you don't get that effect. But Drytron monsters can activate their effects from the grave. So just go Link Karibo, send your Drytron monster to the grave, and then start your combo. So those are 3 big ones that we very frequently go into. We'll get into the other ones that we don't use as much. These are all rank 2s, except for Nightmare Unicorn. Pretty self-explanatory here. IP, go into Unicorn, Phoenix, get rid of spell and traps, and Transverser allows you to switch control of monsters with these 2 arrows. So just a heads up, make sure you watch what columns you're pinning things into, because this card is getting used more and more. So that is the rest of our links. We do have a few boss monsters here. We have a Boral Sword and Appaloosa. I very rarely go into Appaloosa. You don't really need to with like stuff like Vanity's Ruler and Ultimateness. So I don't think I've used this card yet, to be honest with you. Boral Sword I'll go into to just finish off games. He's a great closer. And then we have these 2 to go into Dragoon. A lot of times I'll end on Vanity's Ruler and Dragoon, or Herald of Ultimateness and Dragoon, which is really cool, very tough to get past. So I highly recommend it. See if you can try to squeeze in there. We'll go into the side deck. This is mostly prepared for my locals this weekend. So we have a lot of combo players. We'll run 3 Nibiru just in case. For other hand traps, we have Ghost Spell and Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is pretty much great against everything right now. Ghost Spell comes up a lot. It will be good in mirror matches as well. So Ghost Spell is doing better. A card we have in the main deck, but we have more in the side deck, is the Lancia. This is, if we're going against Virtual World, going second, we'll side in 3 of these. We'll make sure we have a whole set. The other one for the mirror match, and a lot of other decks are weak to this, is Droll and Lockbird. Stops your opponent from searching after they get their first search off. We have Gameciel to go over VFD if we need to. Hopefully we don't. And then for the spells, we have 2 Dark Ruler No Mores going second, and Harpy's Feather Duster. Now, Quadrantids, that ritual monster I mentioned earlier, is a Harpy's Feather Duster. But if you're going turn 2, like let's say you're locked out of special summoning or something like that, hopefully you can draw this card and get rid of the spells and traps. So yeah, that is pretty much the deck profile for Drytrons. I'm super excited to try it out. Can't wait to see how it does, but I'll let you guys know, and we'll do an online duel as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know if I need to change anything about the deck, and have a good one.